Have you ever pondered over how much influence shapes your opinions and decisions? It's a thought-provoking question, isn't it? The power of influence is omnipresent, subtly weaving its way through our everyday lives, often without us even noticing. It has an uncanny way of sneaking into our minds, shaping our thoughts and swaying our actions. Every day, we're surrounded by influence. It's there when you turn on the television or scroll through your social media feeds. It's found in the catchy slogans of advertisements, the persuasive speech of politicians, and the trends that sweep through our society. It's even present in our interactions with friends, family, and peers, subtly guiding our behavior and molding our beliefs. Influence isn't always a bad thing, of course. It can introduce us to new perspectives, inspire us to try new things, and even push us towards positive change. But there's a flip side to this coin. Being too susceptible to influence can lead to a loss of individuality, as we find ourselves conforming to the views and tastes of others. It can also lead to poor decision-making, as we're swayed by the opinions of others rather than relying on our own judgment. Imagine if every decision you made was based solely on the opinions of others. You'd be like a ship without a compass, constantly tossed about by the changing winds of public opinion. You could find yourself making choices that don't align with your values or interests, simply because you're following the crowd. The result can be a life that feels unfulfilling and inauthentic, a life that's not truly your own. Influence is often so subtle that we may not realize we're being influenced. So, how can we avoid it? That's the question we'll be tackling in this video. We'll explore how to recognize the signs of influence, how to understand its impact, and most importantly, how to maintain our individuality and make our own decisions in a world that's constantly trying to sway us. So buckle up and get ready for a journey of self-discovery and empowerment. First, to avoid influence, we need to understand it. So what exactly is influence? At its core, influence is the capacity to have an effect on someone's character, development, or behavior. It's that subtle or not so subtle push that sways our decisions, shapes our beliefs, and even dictates our desires. Influence is everywhere, and it comes from a variety of sources. The media, for instance, is a powerhouse of influence, churning out a constant stream of images, messages, and narratives that mold our perceptions of the world. Our peers, too, can significantly impact our thoughts and actions, often without us even realizing it. Celebrities, with their larger-than-life personas, also wield a considerable amount of influence as they set trends and define what's cool and what's not. Now you might be wondering, why are we so susceptible to influence? Well, the answer lies deep within our psychology. One major factor is social conformity, the human tendency to align our behaviors, beliefs, and attitudes with those around us. It's a survival instinct, really. Throughout history, fitting in with the group has often meant the difference between life and death. Another key factor is our innate need for approval. We all crave acceptance and validation, and sometimes we're willing to change our thoughts or behaviors to get it. This makes us prime targets for influence. But here's the thing, influence isn't inherently bad. It can inspire us, motivate us, and open our minds to new perspectives. The problem arises when it starts to stifle our individuality, when it makes us lose sight of who we truly are. Now that we understand the nature of influence, we can take steps to avoid it. In the next segments, we'll delve into how to build awareness, cultivate confidence, and foster independent thinking, empowering you to navigate the sea of influence without losing your own unique voice. So stay tuned. The first step to avoid being influenced is awareness. It's the key to understanding when and how you're being swayed. It's like having a sixth sense that alerts you when influence is at play. And this sense isn't magical or inborn. It's something you can cultivate. How, you ask? By practicing mindfulness and critical thinking. Mindfulness is about being present and attentive. It's about noticing the details, the subtle shifts in your thoughts and feelings, the cues that suggest someone is trying to guide your choices. Then there's critical thinking. This is your mental toolkit for analyzing information, questioning its source, its intent. It's about not accepting things at face value but probing deeper, seeking the truth, understanding the context. Combine mindfulness with critical thinking, and you've got a powerful shield against undue influence. A shield that lets you see the strings before they're pulled. With awareness, you can identify influence before it affects you. The second step is building confidence. How we view ourselves is paramount in how we interact with the world around us. When you're confident, you're less likely to be swayed by the opinions and influences of others, because you trust in your own judgment, abilities, and worth. So, how do we build this confidence? One way is by setting and achieving personal goals. These can be as simple as finishing a book or as ambitious as running a marathon. When you accomplish these goals, you prove to yourself that you're capable, strengthening your self-belief. Another way is through positive self-talk. The way we speak to ourselves matters. Encourage yourself, celebrate your wins, and be kind to yourself when you stumble. And lastly, self-care. Taking care of your physical, emotional, and mental well-being boosts your confidence by reinforcing the importance of your own needs and happiness. With confidence, you can stand firm in your beliefs and decisions. The third and final step is cultivating independent thinking. Independent thinking is your compass in the vast ocean of opinions, ideas, and influences. It is the ability to form thoughts, opinions, and conclusions based on your own understanding and assessment rather than merely echoing others. It is your natural defense against being swayed by external influences without careful consideration. You might be wondering, how does one cultivate independent thinking? Let's break it down. Firstly, seek diverse sources of information. In the world of information overload, it's easy to get swayed by the loudest voice. To avoid this, aim to get your information from a variety of sources. This allows you to view situations from different angles, helping you to form well-rounded opinions. Remember, a well-informed mind is a less easily influenced mind. Secondly, question your assumptions. It's human nature to form assumptions, but it's also important to challenge them. Encourage yourself to ask why and how. This not only broadens your perspective, but also helps in avoiding the trap of bias and stereotypes. It's like sharpening your mind's sword, ready to cut through the web of influence. Thirdly, make decisions based on your personal values. Your values are your anchor, keeping you grounded amidst the waves of influence. When you make decisions that align with your values, you're less likely to be swayed by external influences. It's like having a personal compass that points you in the direction that's right for you. In conclusion, independent thinking is not about rejecting all outside influences. It's about weighing them against your own understanding, your own values, and making a conscious decision. It's about standing firm in your beliefs while being open to new ideas. Cultivating independent thinking is a journey, not a destination. It requires practice, patience, and persistence. But once mastered, it becomes a powerful tool in navigating the world around you. Independent thinking is your shield against undue influence. So, to wrap it up, we've journeyed through the labyrinth of understanding influence, increasing awareness, building confidence, and cultivating independent thinking. It's been quite a ride, hasn't it? Firstly, we delved into understanding influence. We discovered that it's not always a bad thing, but can sometimes lead us astray. It's important to distinguish between positive influence that encourages personal growth and negative influence that may deter us from our paths. We learned that influence is everywhere, manifesting in our relationships, social media feeds, and even the books we read. Next, we focused on increasing awareness. We learned to be constantly cognizant of the influences around us, to be mindful of the subtle nudges that might be trying to sway our decision-making. This awareness helps us filter out the unnecessary noise and focus on what truly matters to us. Then, we tackled the concept of confidence. We emphasized the importance of believing in ourselves and our abilities. Confidence doesn't mean we have all the answers, but it does mean we trust ourselves to find them. Building confidence helps us to stand firm in our decisions and not be swayed by external factors. Following that, we explored the realm of independent thinking. We painted a picture of how thinking independently allows us to form our own opinions, to question, to analyze, and to make decisions that are in line with our values and beliefs. Independent thinking is a protective shield against undue influence, a tool that empowers us to navigate through life on our own terms. So there you have it, an insight into how we can equip ourselves to not get influenced. It's not about isolating ourselves from the world, but rather, it's about building a stronger self that can stand tall amidst the whirlwind of influence. Remember, the power to avoid influence lies within you. Stay aware, stay confident, and think independently.